What is TISAX and what is it used for? That's what this video is about. TISAX stands for Trusted Security Assessment Exchange. It is mainly used in the automotive industry and is an alternative certification standard similar to ISO 27001, but is primarily used in Germany and worldwide in the automotive sector. It is cross-manufacturer. The main goal is to establish a uniform level of security throughout the supply chain. This means that as a company, as a vehicle manufacturing company, let's put it that way, I can be sure that the suppliers producing the individual parts for my entire car, which I want to manufacture, are producing them securely, and that the information I provide to these companies, whether it's individual parts or perhaps developing advertising brochures for a car or a multimedia concept that will later be installed in the car, is handled securely. It can also include things along those lines, so that I can be sure that all information remains just as protected as I would keep it myself as a company. This is especially relevant for prototypes, meaning cars that are not yet on the market. Manufacturers are particularly interested in ensuring that this information does not become public before a planned press event. And that's exactly why it's especially important to pay attention to the security of the supply chain here. So how does the TISAX assessment actually work? As a company, in order to participate in such projects for vehicle manufacturers, I need certification in the area of TISAX. This certification is available at different levels, depending on how, let's say, confidential the data is that I want to process, or whether as a supplier I might even receive an entire car, a whole prototype, or whether I only need individual parts or manufacture them myself. This all depends. The vehicle manufacturer will specify this when awarding the contract, indicating which level and which components are required. And that's exactly where the different levels come into play. The first is the self-assessment. That means I basically have to evaluate myself using the TISAX catalog. You can think of it as being similar to ISO 27001, except that there are different questions, some of which specifically target prototype protection. But these are also what are called modules. For example, there is also a data protection module which does not exist in ISO 27001. And depending on what my contract, the one I want to take on, involves, this is specified in the requirements from the car manufacturer. It's included there as well. It also specifies which exact components of a TISAX certification or which level I need to have. For the self-assessment, I just have to fill it out myself. That means I basically provide my own assessment of whether I have met the requirements listed there or not. And if not, by when do I plan to do so, or something like that, etc. At level 2, it means that an auditor who is specially trained for TISAX and personally certified to conduct this audit will carry it out. They will carefully check the plausibility based on the documents I have and the completed self-assessment. That means, is what I wrote there also evident in the documents or other evidence I have? Documents can include policies, process flows, but ultimately also implementation. Evidence such as screenshots of configurations showing how I set something up, or logs where I can say, yes, here, some kind of meeting or training takes place regularly, something along those lines. Exactly, those are all types of evidence that you also have to provide there in this context. And level 3 is the highest level. This is especially the case when it really comes to prototypes, meaning when this module is needed in order to get the contract. And that's an on-site audit. That means up to level 2, everything can also happen remotely, but level 3 is when an auditor actually comes on site and examines the circumstances. And above all, it's also about physical protection. That means if I have individual vehicle components or an entire vehicle, how is it shielded from the outside so that no one can see it or so that no one can steal it? That's exactly what the focus was on there. So is TISAX worth it, or what is the return on investment? So with this TISAX certification, I only have to do it once at the highest level I feel confident with. And then I can basically enter the supply chain of automotive suppliers with it. And I only have to do this once. I just have to make sure that it's valid. That means it's valid for 3 years, and then I have to renew it. Then I can take on as many orders as I want, including from other manufacturers, as long as I can keep them separate from each other. Overall, this also makes my company more professional. That means I specialize in a certain customer base, in this case, automotive suppliers and manufacturers. And I would then take on orders for them accordingly. Maybe I can even offer my services at a higher price, or let's say make it economically attractive. And for that, I don't have to rely on lots of small, maybe very individual projects, but instead I really have, let's say, this fixed segment in which I operate. All in all, thanks to TISAX, since I don't have any other security certification yet, information security-wise, I now also have an enhanced level of security. That means, similar to other certifications like ISO 27001, I build an ISMS based on a structure and thus become more resilient against all sorts of other information security threats that could pose a danger to my company. That means I also have risk management in place. I also consider what would happen in the event of a possible hacker attack and so on. All of that is basically covered there as well. For more videos like this, feel free to subscribe to our channel and visit our website.